The only other thing that we didn't get rolling was that, and we can mess with it another time. Next time. Hey, everybody. This is Ethan and Kat, and we are, you guessed it, live.
And can I hear myself?
I don't know. Can you?
Kinda, yeah. Okay.
Kinda. Do you want me to turn you up a little bit?
Oh, you think you got me turned down?
It would just be your headphones. I mean, does that help?
Sure. Oh yeah, that's better.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Does that testes 1, 2, 3? Does that sound good?
It sounds great.
All right. So a couple of things. First of all, I want to say I'm going to spend a little bit of time at my computer, which I try not to do quite as much, but it does happen. And we are going to okay, that looks good. Good enough, folks. You can see us. Like I said, this is a whole pot of coffee kind of conversation, not as much a Ethan on bourbon kind of conversation.
No,
let's go with that.
Especially because he was definitely not batting 100 or 1,000 or anything last time.
Hey, I'm batting at least 1,000 now. Let's get this thing out of my way. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we want to talk about first and foremost. We are just getting started, and what I would love to see is some check-ins. We've got some check-ins rolling, it looks like.
Nice. You guys know the drill.
You do know the drill. Heck yeah, we got 50 people tuned in already. What we got there? Roll through those. Come on, folks. Where are y'all from? Let me pull it up here. I got to turn volume down, right?
I'll pull it up here.
Okay.
Look, I beat you.
You did beat me. Our countdown has ended. We put a countdown up on the other social medias here, and it says it has ended.
Yeah, well, that's because we've begun.
We have begun. Okay, so what do we got for check-ins there, baby?
Someone checked in an hour ago.
Heck
and they were
yeah,
like, 1
dedication,
hour,
baby.
woohoo! The random YouTuber. That's
the
who.
random YouTuber.
Oh,
we know
the
you.
random. Oh my gosh. I'm terrible at reading these. The random YouTuber. There we go.
You just have to sound off.
Yeah. Checking in from South Dakota from Jordan Fast. Pennsylvania checking in from Dark Whiskey. New Jersey here from Don Quinn. Hello from California, Tag J. Hello again from Michigan, Julie Kasser. We've got Iowa checking in, Halt 250R. I love my Patreon access. Awesome,
Heck yeah.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you. We're happy to be able to help you.
Hello from Missouri, from Eric Hogan. The DeCocks from California are here.
Whoop, whoop.
East Bay Signing Services. Hello from Duluth, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
More Minnesota from
I know,
Jake,
that's
Virginia.
Horrible. It's a horrible accent. Let's go.
Wisconsin, Bemidji, Michigan, Oregon, Pennsylvania.
Wisconsin.
Alberta, I'm assuming that's Canada. That's awesome.
Don't assume you know. Come on.
So lots of check-ins. Arkansas, California, Wisconsin, South Australia.
What time is it in Australia?
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of a time difference. Montreal, Canada. That's so cool. Connecticut.
We love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, folks. So we've been talking about this for a little while, and I do want to say first of all and foremost, thank you for everybody that submitted pedigrees. There was a lot of them, and we appreciate it. It was fun to kind of look through and go through them. I will explain why we picked some of them, and it's some of them just require a little more research than I've got the ability to do in a reasonable amount of time, and I'll explain why here shortly. What we're going to be doing in this episode, if you will, is a deep dive into pedigrees. We get a lot of questions about what does my pedigree mean, as well as maybe some of, get you out of the way. Wow. Some of the things about titles, inbreeding, line breeding, some of the things that Kat and I specifically look at when we're picking breedings. We're going to cover all of those things, as well as we're going to work through a couple pedigrees that were submitted, and I will go through those. Do you know what I didn't do? So you guys are going to have to help me a little bit. I printed these off, but I didn't write down who they came from.
I can do that for you.
Genius. There. I'm batting slightly less than 1,000, but not much, okay? Because y'all are listening, and you're going to be able to say, hey, that's my pedigree.
And you've also got a pretty awesome assistant wife over here that can look those up real quick.
Assistant? I got to be your assistant the other day, so that worked out good.
That's right.
We've got some stuff. Now, technology, right, folks? So what I was able to do here is, we had a super chat already?
We got a super chat
Rock and roll on that, and then we'll deep dive, okay? I'm going to use that word as many times. Everybody that's sitting, listening, got some bourbons. Yeah, it's a bourbon night for you. I understand completely. It's no problem. Every time I say the word deep dive, just take a shot.
So William Chesson said, I love my new gear. Can we get the pink hat? Fort Drum, New York. Okay, I need to know what pink hat. Now, there is a pink hat on our website.
You're wanting a guy with the pink gun hat.
I'm assuming. Because we have a pink hat, but it's the ladies' like sassy hat for their ponytails, and I'm assuming you want a guy with a pink gun hat.
You want a guy with a pink gun hat, I'm guessing. If not, I apologize for sounding vain enough to have jumped on that one. But definitely for those of you that don't know, I would drastically appreciate your help in this situation. Just started another channel covering all of the silliness that is me, as well as pigeons, well, not as well as, but as well as shotgunning, hunting, pigeon guiding. It's a kind of a combination of all the things, as well as we lit our pasture on fire purposefully, and I will have to say you are going to probably watch the video. It will come out very soon. It was insane. It was an absolutely insane thing. It was approximately 100 acres we burned to the ground. You need to check that out. But that is Guy with the Pink Gun YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Help me out. We're trying to grow this a little bit to get these folks the content they're looking for.
And people have already been asking for merch on that channel too. So this is pretty appropriate in the fact that people wanted like bourbon and bird dogs t-shirts and things like that.
We're working on it. Quality graphics take a little time to develop, and so we're working on it. But
slowly but surely.
Okay, so what you've been waiting for, though, is jumping into this. Now, technology, I've got set up here so that instead of looking at this and me going, look what's on my computer screen, I can actually do this. Watch this right here. Let's hopefully it works. Okay, so we're going to go. Now, you should be populating here. It's a picture of Kat and I, which looks like it's a little bit shrunkity down.
I have to get closer to him.
I think I can change the size of that just a little bit. Not 100% sure why that's not working. Yeah, that works, huh? Right?
And I have to talk like this.
Well, guess what?
Well, wouldn't that be that? Do we?
It is, but we're in frame otherwise. So let's just do that. Oh.
No, that didn't work.
It's pulling a webcam. Stop that.
Okay, can you fix that?
Yep, I can fix that really fast.
Whew. Good. So while you're fixing that, I'm going to read some more super chats.
I wondered why you were in there. Input. No, I saw the webcam was on. I couldn't figure out where it was pulling
why the
from.
green light was on, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, William Chesson said, yes, pink hat. Jack Daniels here. Is this Jack Daniels that we're going to be working with and training your dog later? I have him on the schedule.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
Oh, good job,
All right,
babe.
folks. So
it
should show up now on your end. I'm guessing we're rocking it. Yeah, heck yeah. You can see us. kind of in the corner of your screen, and you're going to be able to see what I'm doing here shortly. We got a super chat rolling in there?
Yes. So this one is also from East Bay Signing Services, which is Olive's family.
Hey.
I love how I refer to people that I know by their dogs. So sorry, Mallory. Thank you for your content. Olive is watching here with us. As NAVHDA judges, what are your expectations for handlers on an NA test? And will you guys be doing any videos on NA UT testing? So just for clarification, technically, Ethan is not a NAVHDA judge.
I'm not, folks.
He's actually an AKC judge. I am a NAVHDA judge, but anytime we're asked questions via social media and things like that, we're supposed to say things like, I'm going to answer this question, but I am not representing NAVHDA as a whole. These are my opinions, so I'm just going to throw that out there. It's that whole COA or CYA. CYA.
CYA is
There
what
you
you're
go.
looking for there.
So we've talked about the potential of doing some videos on natural ability and or UT testing, but again, that would probably need to get approval from NAVHDA as a whole, just to make sure that they're on board with everything that we're
it's not.
doing.
We can make whatever kind of videos we want. We just have to say, NAVHDA didn't make this, okay?
Okay.
That's it. We do plan to do it. It's going to be a fairly time-consuming project, and we want to make sure it's done right. So it is coming. Unfortunately, it won't be for a minute. But
I can give you a quick rundown of what you can kind of expect from your day at the test, and what the judges are going to expect from you as far as a natural ability test handler. So if it's your first time testing, they're going to actually ask you...
Technology.
Stop interrupting.
I'm sorry. It's cool.
They're going to actually ask all the handlers if anybody's first-time handlers, and if you are, I would highly recommend raising your hand. Not that that's going to give you a disadvantage or an advantage of any kind, but they're going to make sure that if you have any questions, they're answering those. They may give you a little extra help in the sense of, hey guys, guess what? We're headed to the field next, and oh, we're headed to the water, just so that you make sure that you're not getting left behind at any of the locations. The test marshals are also really good about keeping everyone organized that way. The cool part about the natural ability test is we are actually not judging the handlers. There's not really an obedience aspect of the test. There is a cooperation aspect, but we're judging the dog, we're judging the puppy, and we're judging their natural ability. So if we tell you to do something, it's to try and get the best picture of what your dog is that day. So if we make a suggestion, hey, maybe you should stop doing this, that's because we're trying to see the best thing out of your dog, and we have a lot of experience in helping handlers handle their dogs better. So that's the type of thing that you can expect from judges. They should be pretty open to helping. Everyone wants everyone's dogs to do the best that they can that day. We get to see your dog for a very short amount of time, and we want them to be, performing at their optimum ability, but we only can see and judge what we can see that day. So I would say go into it, ask questions if you have questions, and listen if your judges are making suggestions. It's to help you and your dog be as good as you can that day. So, great question.
It's a really good question. All right, folks, this is kind of the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm going to show you this is the geeky, nerdy part of it. I'm going to show you the program that I utilize. Now, there's a couple things. I'm going to start this off with, program is called Pedigree Explorer. There are several different versions of different things out there. This is the one I started with, redeveloping the stuff that I've already entered and all of that data and designing our pedigree layouts and all of those kind of things would take a very long time. This was essentially introduced to me by Clyde Vetter, Sharpshooter Kennels. He showed me kind of how this program works and how to utilize some of those things. And he was a little data hoard because he put time, effort, and energy into entering hoarder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hoarder, okay? I am not that way, folks. And the reason why is because I want people to be able to take a look at this. There are other people that have rest in peace, gentleman that passed recently had a huge database. Huge.
That was open to the public.
Yes.
Which was
Dave,
awesome.
And that's where I did a lot of my fact checking. He was rarely had any mistakes in there. And when I found mistakes that I could prove, I would send those over and he made the corrections. Awesome guy, Dave Dulac, with Koenig Kennels. None of that stuff's up anymore. And like I say, he passed recently.
He passed, yep.
So, but this is the program. I am going to pull it up because I don't believe you're looking at it. Sorry. Pedigree Explorer. Now, how to look at this specifically. These are some of the breakdowns, okay? There's a lot of things going on here. You should be able to see my mouse, everything that's happening. If you have questions, Kat's checking them. We're going to do our best, but I need to run through some things so you know where we're coming from, okay? First of all, on the left side, you've got tools, navigator, editor, grid. This program is ridiculously not user-friendly, okay? It is not intuitive. It does not work the way you think that it should, and it takes a little while to learn, and there are still goofy things that just you figure out workarounds because the goofy things are just not fixable. So it's an extremely old, like Windows 2000 build on, I don't know. It's bad, okay? But it works, and it does the calculations correctly, and it allows you to make a decent pedigree once you've created this. So you've got tools. We primarily use the navigator and the editor, and then the grid, which is this, which is essentially a spreadsheet that shows all of the dogs that I have in the database. Then we go down to the bottom. There are 26,293 short hairs. That's right here with old ZY Sports Maximilian, whatever his name is there. Number 26,293 entered. Okay. Now, when we do things through this, it is all in the process of creating a pedigree. These are not certified pedigrees by the individual registry. Now, that's another thing. I'm gonna jump around as little as possible while still explaining as we go. Certified pedigrees come from a registry. Registries include NAVHDA, AKC. There's Canadian clubs. There's
UKC.
Clubs in. Yep. There's clubs in. There's CKC as well, I think, or something to that effect. There's lots of registries, okay? Some of them better than others. Most of them good. It's part of what they do. The individual registries typically have individual testing systems and individual titles. So if you have a certified pedigree, and you go, why are my titles not showing up here? It's probably because they don't fall into the tier of that specific club's testing regime, testing options, availability, whatever.
Titling.
Their tests and titling. So let's say you have an AKC title of a junior hunter. It won't show up on your NAVHDA pedigree. If you have a NAVHDA natural ability title, which is not a title, it's a score for an event. I think they consider VC as the only title they offer, but whatever. It doesn't show up on your AKC pedigree. Neither does Versatile Champion in that situation. So there's also obedience. There's other coursing events. There's now dock diving, which I don't know exactly what that falls under as far as clubs go, but there's a whole bunch of different events that you can do with your dogs. Your dogs can earn titles. Those apply to your dog's name. We primarily deal in a smaller circle of those things, but we include as many of the titles as we can. So on this side, this is a 5-generation pedigree. This is primarily what we work with. There's also a 4-generation pedigree. Now you'll see all of these. Let me zoom in here a little bit. You see all of these asterisks. Those mean I haven't taken the time to match up the pieces to the spots in the database to make the correct information show up there to format this. I did on this one. And formatting this, we did a couple things here. The colors on these show repeated ancestors. We'll talk about that, as well as it does show the titles. You've got parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great, and great-great-great. That's all 5 generations. The dog's information up here at the top, and then down at the bottom, my little caveat that I created this pedigree, and if there's any issues with it, please let me know. And then we have a date of birth, color markings, owned by, bred by, because that person earns as much respect or notification or whatever as the person that owns the dog, okay? They took a big part of that. Hip score, coefficient of inbreeding, this is a big one. Call name I've got on there, and then sex of the dog, male, female, whatever. There are only 2 options, folks. We have a couple of things. You said it looks like there's a super chat come through?
Yep.
Okay, give me just 1 second, and then, so this is the basis, okay? This is the...
Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
Okay, this is the basis of what we've got rolling here. The last thing is if we go back into... go back into our grid, which these are nuances, and I can, if somebody really wants to get into this themselves, I can help with that. But you've got a forms tab down here. You've got your individual dog tab, and then you have your grid tab. And if you're not in your grid tab, these other buttons that I'm about to show you won't work. So these are some of the quirky things that learning it. Okay, so we come in here. I'd ask you if you want to back up every 10 seconds.
But don't ignore it constantly, because there will be times that it will just crash on you, and then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes, the program. I say
many?
I enter 2 or 3 dogs. I'm clicking this little save button. Save me. But calculating inbreeding. Okay, this is where we can pull a dog, any of the dogs in the whole database. We can hit calculate, and it gives us a whole bunch of cool information that I'm going to explain to you here in a little bit. We've got a super chat.
And it's from East Bay Signing Services. How do you get more than 4 generations from AKC? Which is a really good question.
It's an excellent question. It's something that I was going to cover, but I can throw the to-do in here. You do research pedigrees, and if you have your, I think you can do 5 generations. Yes, in a research pedigree on AKC's website, which they change on, I believe the monthly is kind of their thing. It's difficult to follow it around, but it's usually in the store section. You're going to find the link to
I was
find
going
a
to see
research
if I
pedigrees.
could. Yep.
Yeah. So
Ordering research pedigrees.
Yep. So Kat's going to throw a link in there for you all so you can find AKC research pedigrees. Now, in NAVHDA, all of that information is open source, right? Would that be appropriate terminology? Open source. You can click on it. You can view it. Their whole database is available on the interwebs. And they've done a really cool job updating that more recently here. And it's got great information. B, it's fairly easy to navigate. But if you're looking for more than that 4th generation, sometimes you need to, what we would typically do, if I have a 3 generation or I know the parents and I'm looking to gain more on a specific dog, let's say my dog that I'm thinking about, I would buy the 5 generation because you got to buy them on AKC's website. I would buy the 5 generation pedigree of mom and the 5 generation pedigree of dad, or wherever my lack of information kind of falls off there. I'm going to buy the 5 generation of the furthest back that I can.
Yep, exactly. So I put the link for where you can get those in.
You're going to pin it to the top for now?
Yep. And
Okay.
I'm pinning the message to the top for now. So you guys can grab that link, and that's where you can get those research pedigrees 4 or 5 generation. And it says step-by-step ordering instructions, all the things that you need to know from AKC.
Now, I want to take one quick second. Is this coming through correctly? Let's get a few things. Like I click on this bad boy here. Y'all should be able to see the pedigrees, right? That's rocking and rolling on your end. There's like a couple second lag here. Let's see what everybody has to say.
Someone asked if the database is public or shareable. So our Pedigree Explorer program.
Yeah, the information is not public.
It's not public. It is shareable. You can share your database.
Yeah, I would be happy to share my database with you. Yep. And there's going to be some specific things that you need to see in order to enter it and continue following along the way that I've done it, because it's completely customizable to each individual person. You can, when you get versed in the software, you got to buy the software. I don't have a way to share you a license via the software. It's like maybe $40 or $50, but
Charles is on here, which is awesome because he's kind of jumping in and answering a couple questions too as we go, which is super helpful.
Yes.
Charles can kind of be our moderator for this one via the
for as long as you can be there, buddy.
chats.
Okay,
Yep.
so everybody's coming through. They can see
Good.
everything that's going on. Okay, so now I want you to stop and take a moment and say thank you to a patron. Okay, this involved purchasing some software. All of the things that help make this stuff possible comes from the money that it's brought in through Patreon. So if you're enjoying this, say thanks to a patron or become one yourself. Patreon.com/StandingStoneKennels. All right, let's jump back into this. I'm going to show you.
William Chesson, thanks again for the super chat.
Yeah.
He said, I will send Sammy Winchester when he is 6 months. I love the
heck yeah.
names. I love the names. That's so much fun.
Absolutely. Let's go. So I broke down the software a little bit, kind of what happens in here, and then also what we'll be looking at, kind of some basics. I want to start with one, and we're going to roll through a few of these throughout the evening. I've got
Tell me which one you're pulling up, and I'll the information on it.
let's do this one. This person's I believe this dog belonged to them, right?
Which one, honey?
This is the Blackthorn Hudson.
Yep,
this
that is
owner.
Don Quinn.
Yeah, Don Quinn. Is Don on this evening? Don and Vincent Quinn? I don't know if I've seen that come through yet, but this is one that I want to talk about here. I sent over a pedigree. This is a NAVHDA pedigree. Whee! Okay,
It's already entered.
Yeah, I entered it here. Blackthorn Hudson. So I am in the navigator portion. Come up here. I enter this bad boy in. It starts autofilling.
And Don Quinn is here.
Heck yeah, Don. Thanks for sending this over. I don't know if you did the testing and titling, but that's absolutely fantastic. Either way, it's it's an honor to own
High
a versatile
level
championship.
of achievement for sure.
Excuse me. It's not a versatile championship. It's a versatile champion. I totally screwed that up. Okay, so we have pulled up Blackthorn Hudson. Now you go into the editor section. This is where I entered the dog's name, sex, date of birth, sire. These are all, again, this is just a spreadsheet, database type. I mean, that's the
Data
idea behind
entry.
this. It's data entry.
And we kind of have, Ethan and I have a system. So I'll
Usually
look at the
Cat
pedigrees
reads and I type. And
until I get tired of his typos and all his fat fingering, and then I'm like, let's switch. But
yeah.
it's a lot of data to enter, so having a teammate is helpful.
Yep, sire, and then dam, and then you can put multiple registration numbers in here. I only had the AKC pedigree.
NAVHDA pedigree.
The NAVHDA pedigree, excuse me. And then what we have them listed here as is pre-titles, post-titles. So titles that come in the beginning of their name, titles that come at the end of their name. That's why you see I didn't enter the titles up here. They come in down here. Don't change anything, please. The dog's color. And this is like this 26,000 dogs is the reason why I could only work with short hairs. Sorry, folks. It takes a lot in order to build out what I'm going to show you. And then we've got color. Then we have owner and breeder. Now, we can pull up this 5-generation pedigree that this produces. I'm going to close this for a second. There's a couple things that we need. And if you throw in some stuff for us, I can fill that in. What is Blackthorn Hudson's call name?
That's what she said, Hudson.
Okay. Editor, I'm assuming. I almost put it in, but I didn't want to assume that. Okay. You're going to see a couple other things, and this becomes a personal preference. I would say it's probably not 100% accurate. I can't see it. It's just small. HUDS1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got her. That's going to populate here again. Hudson. Now, we'll calculate this one in a second. This one auto-fills for me. Hips, I would assume, since it looked like he had maybe a breeder award even. You've done hips, right? Are we OFA certification on that? I thought I saw maybe. And we can fill that last bit of info in. Let me know when that pops through. So this is the pedigree. Now, a couple really cool things in here. You can see this little bit of color. That is repeated ancestors in this first 5 generations. Now, another one that we look at here is the family tree. That goes back to 7 generations. Look at all that data.
And all those pretty colors.
All those pretty colors. So let's zoom in here, and you can kind of see. Again, I haven't taken the time to, because you literally have to format each individual box. Man, don't care that much. I like the pretty 5-generation pedigrees, and that's all we work with. But you see how exponentially larger this pedigree gets as you get 7th generation, and 8th, 9th, 10th will be out here. But there's some repeated dogs in here. Let's go ahead and then again, it starts here. The pedigree, you've got your top side, your bottom side. That'd be sire and dam. Then we're going to come back here to our grid. We get any info on hips yet in there?
She has done hips, and he's a chick certified dog. But
I could look that up, but I didn't.
Unfortunately, there was only a limited amount of time
I didn't look that up.
Put all the data in. So there was a few things that we didn't end up entering that obviously can be entered later, but we don't have the actual numbers or data right now.
No. So this is the big one, folks. Inbreeding coefficient results. We've got Blackthorn Hudson. I'm going to click calculate. Now, calculating. Enhance. Max generations for inbreeding calculation. We're doing 10 generations, okay? 10 generations has 2,046 total dogs in it. I can't make this any bigger, y'all. So I know it's showing up. It's fairly small. Now, what this shows here, total number of ancestors entered, means I have 2,001. So I'm missing 45 dogs from his 10-generation pedigree. If it were me and it were my dog, I would be going through, finding the random missing spots, and I would buy research pedigrees or look that information up on NAVHDA or Konag's website that doesn't exist anymore, and find those and fill those holes if it was possible. Now, I do have a couple dogs where I don't have all of it, and AKC doesn't have it. Nobody has it. The information is just gone.
And when you get back, 10 generations, you think about that, that's a long time in the past, and records weren't kept as well, things like that. Data wasn't entered as easily.
Back up for us, whatever.
Sometimes those ancestors get lost, and there's just no way to get that information anymore.
Absolutely. So while it's backing up, it's done. Okay, so we've got total number of unique ancestors. This one's a cool one. 626 dogs. Now, the best way that I can explain this to you is it took 626 dogs to fill all 2,001 filled spots in this specific pedigree. So that plays into the role of the amount of tightness, line breeding, or inbreeding, if you will, that happened in this specific pedigree. Now, let's go back here. This shows that your COI, coefficient of inbreeding, is 4.7%. This is pretty low. Now, had a conversation with a gentleman the other day, and he threw a bunch of generalizations out there. Oh, you're not supposed to go above 6, or, I don't do any breedings unless it's above 20. What do we got?
Charles looked up...
looked up the info. What do we got?
OFA good for his hips. So Charles took Dawn's chick number that she put in there and was able to look up his hips.
What was the breeder? I just screwed that up. Was it Anita?
Well, if you hadn't thrown that on the ground.
Is it Anita?
No, Vincent. Hold on. Stephen Clements. So
it wasn't wrong. I had just... Clements.
There you go.
All right, Clements,
Yep.
whatever. Okay, so we've got hips here. What are we? OFA?
good.
So I put in here OFA good, just so you've got that. Now, if we come back here, we're jumping a little bit just to show you what this looks like. It's updated now, OFA good. And it should have calculated that. Whoops, slow down now. Where are we at, y'all? Right here. You dirty dog, you.
It didn't save it.
It didn't. Here, calculate inbreeding again. Do it. Okay, we're there. Close. Aha. Now it's there. So now you see COI. So this is the completed fun version that I like to create, and you see on our website and the whole 9 yards. If you are interested in this, I'm going to go. This looks, you already have a certified pedigree, and that's fantastic, but we're going to go to save as a picture, and then I'm going to type in
Hudson.
And I'm going to save it in where all of my other saved pedigrees are. If you would like it, I can send it to you. Now, I want to go back and talk about a couple other fun things here, and then I'm going to show you some examples. And after I show you some examples of our dogs, and I'm going to show you some sample breedings, and then we're going to get right back into a couple of the other submitted pedigrees. So, again, we come back in here to calculate inbreeding, hit the calculate button, and then this is another one that's really interesting. It's called percentage of blood. To break this down, we've got Blackthorn here. Then below that, we have Garbonita Bonanza, which is 50% blood. That means daddy. Then we have Black Ridge Angel Daisy, 50% blood. Mom, dad, right? 100% blood is the dog in question. 50% blood would be mom and dad, half and half. Then you come down here, grandparents, 25%, 12.5%. Break that down as you keep going. Oh, wait. What do we have here? Jageroff's Baron von Windig. Guess what? This dog doesn't show up until the 4th generation, but is equivalent percentage blood of the 3rd generation. All right, guys? So now we're starting to see some stuff. We can sort this.
And the reason behind that is because that dog is showing up in the pedigree more often.
Line breeding, folks.
Yes, and that's where that unique dogs and ancestors come in.
Yep. I did something pretty cool there. It was a little tricky. I sorted them by this column, Z to A, as it has listed here, meaning the biggest
Most.
to least, I guess. That just happens to be how it works. So now we can look down here at the dogs that are populating. Speaking of, Shooting Star's Sharpshooter, he does not show up until generation 3, but is greater than a grandparent. And this one is a really interesting one. Hillhaven Hustler, it's a Hall of Fame dog. He shows up here 17.18% blood, but doesn't show up until the 5th generation. Another 5th gen, let's go, I don't remember that exactly. So 5th generation would be on average, what is that? 3.125 would be an average 5th generation dog. Hustler happens to fall into that category. And in that category, he shows up so many times that 9 to be exact, is 17% blood. Now, this one gets even crazier. Axel.
And that dog shows up in a lot of pedigrees we've seen.
Yes, especially NAVHDA pedigrees, versatile dogs. Axel von Wasserslig, I believe is it's pretty close to how you pronounce it. He's an outcrossed dog, according to this, and that may be my lack of data entry behind him. But he doesn't show up until the 8th generation, and he happens to show up 66 times in this pedigree. Wowzer, folks. Wow. So that makes him 14% blood, more than a grandparent, yet doesn't show up until generation 8. Now,
no, more than a great-grandparent. Grandparents, 25.
Right. Sorry. More than a great-grandparent, but in fact does not show up until the 8th generation. How many is that? Great-great-great-grandparent? Great. Lots of greats in there. Okay, folks? So now we're going to go ahead and clear this out. So that explains a little bit percentage blood. When you are looking at 2 dogs and you are planning a breeding, you are going to get 2 things. Let's flip back here. Big picture, okay? So when you're looking at pedigrees, you're looking at or breedings. I'm going to take dog A and dog B and make puppies, okay? So once we have done that, we are going to primarily see mom and we are going to see dad. They are there. Now, whichever dog is more tightly bred you are going to see more of that dog because they throw a smaller selection of genes to pull from. Therefore, they get repeated more often. Therefore, there's a greater chance they get pulled from. Therefore, they show up in the puppies. Does that make sense? Hope so. Now, if you make your mating and there's some of those repeated ancestors here and here, and this dog is more tightly bred, well, then you're going to see the little pieces that come from over here that are repeated that are extremely happy-go-lucky over here, okay?
And those start to add up.
They start to add up. Now, the cool thing behind this, and this is where stuff gets a little haywire, okay? Too tightly bred, right? That's going to throw the R word. I won't even say it because Kat will poke me or kick me under the table, but it's going to throw some special puppies, right? I mean, that's the same thing of kissing cousins or, inbreeding, right?
Well,
okay.
and that's what gives inbreeding a bad, like having any amount of inbreeding a bad name.
And not that I'm saying I'm condoning this, all right? I'm a human being as well. But it's not like magically there's deformities that just happen from those situations. Now, if it gets continued over an extended period of time, all that's going to happen on the forefront of the situation. So we have and this is something that happens on a fairly regular basis, grandparents back to granddaughters, right? So you've got a granddaughter getting bred to essentially
her
grandpa, and then that makes this puppy, it's a great grandparent and a father, okay? That's line breeding. And what you're going to end up doing is shortening or lessening the gene pool, making it smaller, fewer things to pick from there. Now, when you make that smaller, things get to show up more often. If you've got good things there, good things show up more often, right? If you've got bad things there, I think you know where I'm going with this, bad things show up more often. So if you have clean lines, you can
clean, healthy lines.
You can line breed in a good way, and it's beneficial. You're going to get more consistency.
That's what I was going to say.
Throughout your litters.
Yep, building consistency so that you can plan what you're producing. It's not just a crapshoot. It's not just we're putting this dog with this dog. Let's see what we get. We can have an idea based on genetics.
The opposite of line breeding would be outcrossing. So we take two dogs that are not very closely related, and this specific dog, let's go back here.
Yeah, Hudson isn't super tightly bred.
No.
I mean, he's 4%, 4.6 or something like that.
Yeah, 4 something. So that's not very tightly bred, where even the Bonanza dog's quite a bit more tightly bred. This is more of an outcross breeding, but you have to look at both numbers. The COI, coefficient of inbreeding, is most directly related or affected by the first 3-ish generations, the front side. The unique ancestors number is most directly affected by the backside or the end results. When you get into that 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th generation, there's a lot of repeats that can happen there. So now, all of those things being said, you've got more consistency in a breeding, and people are starting to understand, okay, maybe line breeding's not so bad, right? And then you go from that. Let's back up again because we haven't done anything yet, but why not? As you continue on with this, you may start to feel a little bit of that. Line breeding's a good thing, okay? Now, at the same time, nature is going to say, folks,
Too tight.
We can't let this happen anymore. And the first couple things that go, because this is a really big thing with cattle and any type of livestock. Line breeding is insane, okay? And the first things that go, one of which is
mothering instincts.
Mothering instincts. Yep. Drop a calf, walk off. Don't care.
Or
Not paying
can't
attention.
even have the calf.
Can't have
like,
the calf.
I can't have this calf.
Whatever. So it's one of those deals that mothering instincts go away, and then the other side of it is just true fertility, where nature says, we're not letting you do this anymore, folks. And you have moms that, or dads for that matter, that are not fertile. They don't produce eggs. They don't produce semen. It's all that line of saying, no more.
But just because you have a dog that might have fertility issues, that isn't pointing a finger directly at, that dog is too closely bred. That's why it's having fertility issues.
No.
There is a whole bunch of things, which is a completely different topic, that can go into fertility issues, from nutrition to environmental factors to the health of the dog. So it's not just genetics, but that plays a role as well. We did have a super chat.
Okay, go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to pull up here. I think we covered Hudson's pedigree pretty well.
So.
Oh, there was one other thing that I wanted to jump in. Hold that super chat 5 seconds.
That's fine.
We'll do this quickly, and then I'm going to prepare for the next couple because I want to jump into some of these other folks so I don't miss those because we're rolling through our time here pretty quick. It's
There's
a lot
just
of
so much
information.
information.
It's a ton of information.
It's a pedigree deep dive.
Deep dive, right? So we're back here. Hudson, wham. The next thing that we look at is count, and this gives me a better indication of exactly what is going on sometimes. This, again, pulls up there. There's your Axel dog, right? We talked about that 66 times he shows up. Then there's several other, not too shabby there. KVD Wildberg, Unda von Heghaus, Esser's Chick, Kel, I don't know on that one. Caesar von something. All right, so a bunch of other dogs in here too. They're rolling in at the 30s, 20s, 19s. Okay, so you see lots of Voms, Vonder, Von. Anytime you see a V in the name, or VD, or a V,
Vom or Von.
Vom, Von, VD, Von, Vonder, Vom. All it means is of. Okay, so I've simplified in a majority of the dogs moving forward. I haven't gone back and corrected every single one of them, but in all the new dogs that I enter, anytime there's a something with a V, I just shorten it to the letter V because it all means the same thing. And that's where some people jump me a little bit about the accuracy of my pedigree. Well, it's not their official formal name, but it looks cleaner on my pedigrees, and that's all that really matters to me. So it's still accurate, okay?
They're not certified.
But, yeah, they aren't certified by anybody but myself, which means nothing, okay? Absolutely nothing. But we look at that count. So go ahead and answer the super chat, and then we're going to roll in some other dogs.
Okay. So Dawn Fish Hunt said, picking up a GSP next week. She's about 8 weeks old. Was wondering how much activity and training she should do a week. So that's a really good question. I would highly recommend looking at some of our puppy playlists on YouTube. But when you bring your puppy home, some of the most important things that you're going to want to do in the beginning is clicker training. So you're going to want to charge that clicker, and we do that by helping the puppy work for their meals. So we typically feed 2 meals a day, so doing 2 formal training sessions a day, keeping those fairly short because little puppies' attention spans aren't very long, and when they do get distracted, it's a good time to say, okay, we've gone too far, we need to keep these sessions shorter. They do need plenty of exercise as well as that mental stimulation, but it can't always be unstructured play because they can learn some really naughty habits as well in the beginning. So we want to make sure that the play is appropriate, that they're spending time in their crate, which is also really important so that they can understand, hey, I've been home for my first week of life at my new family's or 2 weeks of life at my new family's, and I never have to spend time in a crate. Then you guys have to get back into the grind because some people I know take time off from work when they're bringing home a new puppy. And then what happens is that puppy gets really used to out time, not so used to crate time, and it can create some really naughty behaviors that are very difficult to overcome, including crying for long amounts of time on end. So definitely keeping a fairly structured routine with some flexibility is really important. We actually have a video with Thunder called 24 Hours in the Life of a Puppy, I believe.
Yes.
And that would be a really good one to watch. It shows kind of the day-to-day structure of a day with one of our young puppies. So
absolutely.
Hopefully that helps.
Thanks for the question. All right, so I want to show you a couple of these. These are going to go a little bit faster because there's a few things that I want to. We've done the general breakdown. I want to say right here, this one, it's going to take a second to, this one right here.
Focusing at all?
It is kind of. This is an AKC Research pedigree.
This is what we were talking about. That 5-generation pedigree.
It's just too much light on the white piece of paper. Okay. I want to say, Kelly, thanks for submitting Jackson's pedigree, but there was virtually none of the dogs on this pedigree in my program, and it would just take too long for me to edit it to prepare for this. If you want me to work on that at another time, we could talk about that specifically. But
especially because Kelly's a patron, so
yes, we love you to death. I just don't have enough
you.
information, and I wanted to show because this is what a research pedigree looks like, and this is what we use to find a lot of awesome information about dogs. So thank you for submitting that one, Kelly. This is the next one. Yep.
That one.
Is this the one that was missing info?
Yep.
Okay.
What was
The person pfeffer, pesserensen pfeffer. I don't know how to say it. Okay, so we'll jump back here.
I'll see if I can find who sent it.
I entered this one in here. I'm going to come up here to my navigator, folks, right? Navigator. And we're going to type in PRINZE. There it is. No. Princessin. Where are we at? Here we go.
Right there.
There we go. Okay. So we're going to double click on that bad boy. We're going to come up here. Zoom out so everybody can see. We have some holes, folks. Some big ones in the early category. Now, this is where I was talking about, right? We got to look at what are we missing. If it were me, I would probably have to go, let's go to the family tree and see what else we're missing. Ooh, yuck, lots of stuff. I personally, for my dogs, would have bought this research pedigree here, which would give me, that's generation 1, and then I would have 2, 3, 4, and 5
which
back
would
here.
Be, this is 7, that would have been 8, 9, 10.
Yep, that gets me to 10. So buying this dog. Then I would, and I usually buy them. You can search the dog's names on the internet and come up with pedigrees, but there again it's not certified information, and there's a lot of wrong ones out there. With this one here specifically, I would probably buy this one, and then I would buy this one, and then that's going to get us. I bet once we get back here, I've got majority of the rest of it in there with the older dogs. I have a pretty good collection of older dogs in here. And then that would fill this out. Right now, if we come back here and look, you're going to see an inbreeding coefficient pop up, but this is 4.5. And then you're going to see here that we only have 1,500 dogs entered of the 2,046. So this unique ancestors number is going to go up a fair amount as we add more dogs in to, I mean, it could go upwards of 500 higher, which means it's a fair amount of an outcross of a breeding, which is also shown here with this 4.519%. That's not super, I mean, there's a little bit of repeat up front, okay? Not so much on the back end. That it makes a big difference. Okay, let's go to thank you. Did you find out who?
I'm trying to find out whose that was. I was looking through all the emails again.
Thank you for submitting. I'm going to set it up here. I won't throw them.
Oh, it says Tag J, which I don't know exactly what your actual name is. Was that
said that was theirs?
Okay. And they said, I will look to get the research pedigrees. Awesome.
Yeah, if you get those, I've got a majority of it here. You send me over the research pedigrees, or they're like 35 or $40 a piece, depending on what you get. 25, 35, something.
It's
$30-ish
been a while since we got one.
I haven't bought one in a while because as I've continued to build out our database, majority of the dogs through as we progress through our breeding program, I have all of them. So unless we're adding something completely new. The next one here is Wild Flush Deuce Hustler. Whose dog was that?
Ethan.
Come on, baby.
I'm trying, but there were a lot of emails, so trying to find it. And a lot of the emails just said YAWA pedigree or no subject, so.
Yep. Okay, so we've got a breeder there.
Oh, wait. I think I remember seeing that one from
John Prokosevich from Iowa. I've only heard of the man. Don't know him personally. Okay. No, we don't need to back up. We literally haven't done anything. Thank you, though. Okay, I saved it. Feel better? All right, so we've got an owned by. I didn't enter that info in there.
I found
Who's the owner?
the owner for the pepper dog.
Pepper dog. Okay. So this is another one. Lots of color here. We need a call name on old Wild Flush Deuce Hustler. Is his call name Deuce or Hustler? Or is it like Gunner or something that has nothing to do with his name? We don't know. I'm going to pull it up here.
So it was Trisha.
Trisha.
Was Pfeffer.
The Pepper.
Pepper.
Thank you, Trisha. Calculating. Here we go. Now we're getting a little bigger. 11.7312%, folks. We can go to the report. We can see 466 dogs. We're missing some stuff back there, though. 1860. Usually we can correct that through family tree. Oh, there's our hole right there. That's all we need. It's behind this dog and this dog. And if we grabbed this dog, I could get Bailey's Checkmate Shadows. Checkmate was a big field trial breeder way back before my time. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd get one generation beyond that. So it's a little wasted on this top side, but we'd get all of this. And again, when we get to generation 8, there's a good chance I've got the rest of it back there. No guarantees, but it could happen. Look at all that color, folks. That COI would go up, and if we pop back over here to our grid, am I on the right deal? Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, pop back over to our grid. We can go up here. We can calculate our inbreeding. Again, this calculate section. And then we can go to our, this isn't going to be accurate but Axel von Wasserslag, that old boy again, here he is, 51 count. He is 11.23% blood, but doesn't show up until the 8th generation again. So that old guy's out to play. Percentage of blood, Z to A. Here we go. We got Hillhaven's Hustler. Shows up generation 5, 16 times. He is more than a grandparent, folks. Okay. Now, we need some more stuff in there, but we've got some good stuff. It's pretty well started. Let's go on to the next one. This is kind of a fun. These last two are kind of fun because I already have these in here, and I'm going to show you these specifically via our dogs. I didn't actually enter these in. This little dog's name is Black Ridge's Little Dynamite. Okay, that's a Black Ridge Apollo dog bred to Outlanders. Outlanders keep one eye open. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. If I navigate to Black Ridge, and then I can go down to Kicking Up Dust.
Anybody know who that is?
Anybody know who this is? Kicking Up Dust. Oh, look at that. Owned by us. Ha ha ha. Bred by Jake Bean. He's got the Black Ridge Kennels out there. Absolute fantastic dog. It's our baby girl, Grit. Okay?
Mama Grit.
Yep, Mama Grit, who has a litter of puppies on the ground. We've got her hips score in there, her coefficient, 5.5. Let's pull this up because you sent it in and you get to see it. It is exactly the same just as what your dog is here, just has Grit's name on it. We've got the count. Let's look at that. Holy cow, Axel. That's a new record. We've got 59 count on there.
That's not a new record. Somebody had 66.
It's not a new record. Okay. X here. Now we're going to go to count. Oh, we did that. Sorry. Percentage blood. 17%. The old boys creeping up in there. Okay, report now. We've got 1987. I only have 1,987 dogs in Grit's pedigree. I think I know why. I haven't reached out to do more of that because the Grit puppies, I end up getting all of it because I'm missing less than a little bit in one generation, and then that generation goes away when I do a breeding with it. I think so. That surprises me that I haven't done that. But total number of unique ancestors in there, 705. That's getting up there in the numbers-wise, which means this is more of an outcross. I mean, and it shows again coefficient of inbreeding lower, and it's more of an outcross. So now,
but from a breeding standpoint, for example, for us,
need
sometimes we
outcrosses.
need outcrosses and
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
things that aren't super tightly bred so that they can be bred to the rest of the dogs from our breeding program. So pulling in a dog from Outlander's kennel or from Black Ridge's kennel for a breeding program allows you to not breed yourself into a corner and get too tight.
Okay, the next one here, we've got Outlander's Quest for Trouble. That is a litter mate to Outlander's Quite the Terror. That was this next one that was submitted here. And Outlander's Quite the Terror is born May 19th. That's my birthday.
Same birthday as Questy Pup.
Go figure.
How's that work?
Yep, so here we go. 8.1% COI. Go to the report. We've got 2044, so we're literally missing 2 dogs in that. 564 unique ancestors. That's going down a little bit from the last one especially. We can look at percentage blood. Hustler. 25.3%, so he's more than a grandparent, but doesn't show up until the 5th generation.
Which is pretty crazy.
Nutso. Okay, now let's clear that bad boy and then come in here to count and look at total dogs. Axel, 41. See, we're getting a little more diversity in this specific breeding, but when you go Axel, that'd be more of your quote-unquote German dog. And then you come down here to field dog, 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 field dog. And that's some of the stuff that I look at, okay? If we're doing a cross. Now, this one is an interesting one, okay? I've gone through these pedigrees. Thank you all for submitting them. If any of you that submitted a pedigree, it's not too late. I would love to help y'all, but it does take time to do this. If anybody that submitted the pedigrees that I did on the show, if you want your copy of what I've got in that 5 generation, looks like this bad boy with the colors and your name, I can finish that out for you and I would send it to you. Shoot me an email.
Shoot the email over to
YAWA Pedigrees.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
Just
we'll
shoot it
check
over there. I'll check it here in the next day or so, and we'll get these finished out. I'll send it over to you. If you want it, you can have it. Excellent. Let me know. Okay. Now, do we have any with questions or anything right now?
No extra questions, no extra super chat questions currently, but
questions. We've got more stuff to cover. Now, we talked about, I'm going to pull this up here so you can see my face big again. So we talked about the breedings, right? How are we planning this stuff out? And I've got some really interesting breedings that I want to show you. Let me bot back over. There. Audio is back. I apologize.
So-
Goodness, I missed that. We missed that whole thing when I clicked on that because I was like, oh, you want to look at my ugly mug? Audio
And
gone.
that got rid of our audio. So thank you guys for saying, hey, where's the audio? Because otherwise we would have finished out the whole thing without any audio.
Yeah, that'd have been bad. Okay, so Ariel von Heghaus, quick recap there. You were watching this happen but didn't hear me talking. We come in here. I've got all, calculate please, 2,046 dogs. There's 219. Oh my God, 219 dogs make up all 2,046
That's
spots.
not very many.
No, that's a lot of repeats, folks. This those folks must have been from. I'm not even gonna make a joke about a state or anything. Okay, coefficient of inbreeding. We're gonna look at percentage blood, and then here we've got Rife von Heghaus. This dude is dang near a parent. Doesn't show up until the 3rd generation. We've got a bunch of other dogs that are way more than grandparents that don't show up until the 5th or 6th generation. Just a lot of repeats, which is what you would expect. Okay, so breeding, folks. This is the stuff that I kind of get nerdy about when it comes to our breeding program. This is how I calculate these. I go to puppy, P-U-P-P-Y. This is how I sort them all out. And then I've got a whole list here. You can see all those. All of the sample breedings. If we've got a female, I've sampled her out to all of the things that I'm considering the potential of, and including, if you see these double ones here, this says Callie Josh to Snap Cash. These are sampling out potential puppies of the litters to other puppies of litters that don't exist, okay?
As well as if we have clients that are interested in stud services.
Yep, I'll sample them out for them too.
As well.
Okay, so one that we're doing here, this one's on the website. I want to show you Allie Bullet. Allie is in heat now. You got to know first. We are in the process of working through those things.
We are just working
Waiting.
on timing.
2,046
Pulling blood.
dogs here in this breeding, 563 unique dogs. We come up here to count. We've got Axel, but it's more of an outcross aspect of things here. We have Axel, then we have Field through there. Yeah, pretty much. So this should be some quality field dogs. If you get away from this, let's go. Okay, this one, good golly, Miss Holly. Okay, 21% inbreeding coefficient. She threw a lot of herself. There's a good reason for that. 645. So it's an interesting thing to see higher COI, but this is one of our
bigger number.
Our bigger number of unique dogs. So you've got the front end, back end.
And we still are missing a few dogs.
So
in
that
the
number
end,
will go up
so,
a little bit.
Yep.
Percentage blood, we can pull that back up here. You've got Excalibur von Instrand, Shooting Comments, Hustlin' Haley's in here. Some interesting stuff. And then if you clear that, we go to count, you're going to see a whole lot of Axel. Now, you've got German. Ooh, field dog. German. Oh, here's some field dogs in here. Okay. Ooh, nope, there was just two. Two field dogs. All right, so what we dealt with that specific dog is more prey drive, slightly less desire to point and back slightly.
The natural backing was something that we
natural
were
backing
seeing.
she struggled with. Yep. There's no such thing as a perfect dog. It's always a balance act. Add a little of this, add a little of that. See how we can continue to move in the direction we're looking for, up. And with this, she lacked true, what I often refer to as true bird dog. Okay. But what she did have was an amazing coat that comes from all of this stuff here. She had a ton of retrieving desire, water drive, prey drive to the max. She was a hell of a bird hunting machine. No quit in her. A little more dog than the average person could handle.
And crazy coated. Like
I said coat.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed that.
Really,
I was
really
reading a comment.
Okay,
Sorry.
so puppy. We got a good comments in there you need answered.
Someone was saying no audio again, but then somebody said audio is okay. So I was trying to be like, is the
audio is working. I'm looking at it right now. We're pushing audio. So if you aren't getting audio, it's maybe turn the volume up. Just teasing. If it's not working, we want to fix it. But okay, so here, puppy. This is one that you're gonna like.
Okay. What are you doing? And I want to see what you're doing. Okay, go. Go. Puppy
Okay.
who?
Puppy, I'm going to open it up here because I want to show you this part of it first. This is Puppy. This is an exciting one. We're looking at, let me roll this here.
So Don Fish Hunt, you're looking for who you're looking for, has another super chat.
Excellent.
And Don, I wanted to let you know that I threw the video link to Thunder's 24 Hours in the comments. So you'll want to try and grab that here. It's up there at 8:28 is when I commented that. So you can look back up there at the timestamp. But lots of giardia is going around where I live. Was wondering what's the best treatment, what the best treatment is, and how do you guys deal with quarantine sanitation and best medication?
Few things.
So giardia is honestly fairly common with
Extremely common, but it sucks.
Yeah, with dogs and hunting dogs especially, and when things get wet and warm, and the dogs are drinking out of puddles, all those things are pretty easily happening. If you are dealing with giardia, I would definitely reach out to your vet, stool sample to confirm, and then they're going to most likely prescribe medication.
Yeah, it's usually metronidazole and then a drug called Panicure or Safeguard, which is fenbendazole is the active ingredient in that, or they'll do some combination of the two together, all of which you need to go to your vet to get, okay?
But, and then
cleaning stuff up, some of the stuff that we really like is Wissy Wash makes a big kennel cleaner thing, but they just created a little tablet deal where you can sanitize in your own little squirt bottles. It's called Effersan. It comes in a tablet. You put it in a quart bottle, and it's kill all. Let that dry. It's supposed to be safe for the dogs, and it's essentially a bleach type product, but doesn't. I don't know. It's a bleach type product, and it works great. That's what we're using for extreme sanitation type situations.
And giardia is somewhat opportunistic in a sense.
Probiotics would be the other one, which, sorry, I'm kind of cutting you off.
You're fine.
Probiotics would be the other one that it's not going to live as well in a good, healthy gut environment. Now, the caveat with that is probiotics are bacteria. It's good bacteria, and the antibiotics technically can kill the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, but it doesn't really hurt to throw it in there and keep it rolling after you feel like the medicine, and after you finish your course of medicine. Keep probiotics rolling for a little while. It'll help stomachs all the way around. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is one that I wanted to show you, okay? And then I think that's about all the time we're going to have for this evening.
Oh, okay.
What you got?
I was wondering if you were going to do guts to Vex.
Oh, we'll do that one. We'll do two. Okay. So this one,
we're going to do
we'll
two.
do two.
I talked him into it.
You talked me into it. We'll do two. And then what you guys have to do is just let me know if this is something that interests you. Not for me to talk more about it. I enjoy talking about it. It's a lot of info. It's a lot of stuff, but I also don't want to bore y'all. We like answering your questions. If that's what you'd rather see, we can do that. So here we go. You can see colors, right? We've got Willow Creek's T-Rex, Darby. That's nothing but trouble. It's the old Nixer. Now,
and then
this is
the
cool.
T-Rex, that's Grandpa Rex.
Grandpa Rex,
Everybody lovingly refers to him that way.
Yep. So then we've got Willow Creek Zoom Zoom Zoe. This dog right here is this dog's sister. From the same breeding? I don't have a birth date in there to remember. What's a registration number? I don't have that in there. Good dang, I'm falling down on the job.
We need more data entry.
Yeah, it's good enough. But brother and sister, I believe from the same breeding or one breeding different. No. Zoe was from Shooter One's litter. This is the litter after that.
Yep. Okay.
So Zoe's a little older. Anyhow, same cross, different breeding. You see some similarities here, okay? Now, what comes up behind that is Bomber. Bomber is a Dixie Tango dog. Let me click on that for you. And when you double click on dogs, it takes you to that individual dog's record, okay? So Dixie Tango, okay? This is Dixie, this is Tango. Now we're going back because I wanted you to see that because you're going to see it here. Diva is a You guessed it, Dixie Tango dog. Okay, Bomber and Diva, I believe, are either litter mates, or I don't know if that breeding was done more than once. Okay, then what you see up here is Man in Black, Man in Black, Man in Black, sharpshooter dog, produced a bajillion of amazing dogs.
I don't know if that's quite an accurate number, but he's had a lot of breeder award litters. He's produced a lot of really nice dogs.
I think he's produced the most breeder award litters of any dog in the history of NAVHDA.
Right, but I don't think quite a bajillion.
It's pretty dang close. Okay. But not in a bad way, just in a way he's a hell of a dog, so he's breeding. Okay, don't read into anything. These are the words I'm saying. Sharpshooters, Man in Black, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Typically in those breedings that fall in the tango and that stuff and whatever, we see some more axle. And I'm saying, okay, we've got this dog up front. I really like this dog. This is a dog we're going to be doing a breeding with later this year, and as long as everything, it's a local gentleman here. He's got an amazing little dog that I got to hunt with this last fall.
And we trained.
And we're going to, this is the thing, I'm open to all dogs that fit the category of me going, wow, you got a nice dog there. Then we talk about things and see if it works out. Breeding to Vex. And I was like, Vex happens to be it comes back here to the cash, and then we got cash here. I don't want to be too tight on that, because what I've seen is it's a little more prey drive sometimes than what we specifically are looking to produce, like a little more field dog. And then, but I'm like, but Piper doesn't really fall into that category. She's got good drive, but she points and she backs and she retrieves, and she's nice to be around. And then you got this guy who everybody loves, including myself, probably more than anybody else. But then this is the interesting part, okay?
Which is why Ethan really likes playing with these pedigrees and just being like, well, let's see what Piper to Vex would be. Let's see what Piper to Shooter would be.
Like? So 13.1%. We're right in that middle of the 32% being a little high and 3 to 4% being a little lower than what I'm looking for. Report, we've got 2,040 of 2,046. I'll probably go look for that, but 489 unique dogs. So what this means is it's not an overly tight breeding. Not too tight, okay? 13%. But we've got fewer unique ancestors back there, meaning it's going to be a very consistent breeding. So we're going to have, hopefully, 9 clones of the exact same puppy. They're pretty much just one's a male, one's a female, and they're different colors, okay? Now, the other side of things is percentage of blood. This is where some stuff gets kind of cool. We're going to do a count first. Holy crap, 78 times. Hillhaven's Hustler shows up.
I think that's a new record.
Yeah, that is a new record, okay? So now, he doesn't show up until Generation 6, but he happens to be almost the equivalent of a grandparent, which that would be Generation
3.
Okay?
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. But field dog. That's more of a German dog. Then we've got Field, and then we've got Remo. Yeah, Remo. Eric Von Enstran's a field dog.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we've got some other stuff mixing in here. Here's Axel down here at 15 times of a repeat. And then we've got some other German stuff. So what I'm liking about this, and me personally breeding this about what you are trying to produce, we're trying to be better. We're trying to better the breed in a way of producing a family-oriented, versatile companion that can be edged in the direction of field dog. I mean, we don't primarily duck hunt. We like to float that line, but if I have to float it one way, if I have to tip the scale one way or the other, I'm tipping it field-wise. That's for me.
Which is why, I'm just going to throw this in there, looking at pedigrees, having an understanding of what they mean, what those titles mean, and what those breeders are breeding for characteristics-wise is really important to make sure that you don't just get a short hair. You get a short hair that fits what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And maybe we're producing it, maybe we're not. It just depends on what you guys are looking for specifically.
Okay, so you look at percentage blood, shooting star, sharpshooter, hustler doesn't show up till Generation 6, and he's almost a grandparent, 3rd generation there, okay? But part of that, why things aren't quite blown out here, all right, hustler inbreeding coefficient's 1.17. So line breeding on that bad boy is still line breeding on an outcrossed dog. Not 100% consistency. Things that we know, though, with heavily hustler bred litters is they're going to throw fairly coated dogs. They're going to throw versatility. They're going to throw softer dogs, and they're going to throw dogs that point back and retrieve fairly naturally. He's a Hall of Famer, folks, okay, and a dual champion. It's a hell of a dog to breed on. Now, granted, we're trying to produce better, but what we can say is when we look at this, we've got a general idea, because, again, I mentioned this in the beginning. We're going to see mom and we're going to see dad, but this is helping us to better understand what made mom and dad and what things we should expect to see repeated into the breeding. So this one, I don't believe it's even announced on our website yet because this is kind of a newer coming, is one I'm really excited about. Now, the next thing is that I've been trying to do for years and years.
Yep.
What do we got?
We got a super chat from Nicole Spencer. Said, I submitted my dog's pedigree. It was not on the show tonight, but I was wondering if you could still put it in your program. This is very interesting and would love to learn more. And then they also said, I am a Patreon. I can reach out on there as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you for teaching us. Of course, especially because you are a patron member, we would definitely want to help you out. We'll take a 100%. Look at your pedigree and
pull it up and see why I didn't grab it. There were a few.
And there were a few that we just didn't have time. I mean, there were a lot of pedigrees that got submitted, and we just... There's only so many hours in a day.
Alrighty, folks. This is the last one, and this is something that I've been extremely excited about. I've said that a lot this evening, right? I'm extremely excited, okay? I enjoy this, and this is what it's the nerdiness in me. I like looking at the numbers. I like looking at this stuff and then drawing conclusions based on what I hope breedings will produce, and then seeing, okay, these breedings did produce that. In fact, I think if we try and repeat that again, we can see somewhat of what we're looking for. What do we got here? That one I didn't do. NAVHDA. All right, so I'll have that. I'll probably have that dog. There was a few more dogs missing from this and what I have time for. I would be happy to sit down and work on this for you, though. It'll just take me a little bit of time. It'll take me a few hours, and I may request you to get
some research pedigrees, depending on where we get stuck
to help me out. Yep. So we'd be more than happy to look at it. Shoot us a message on Patreon just to remind me, and we will make it happen. Now, we've talked a little bit about line breeding and jumped around on that. I have talked about this multiple times. If you follow any of our stuff at all, you know that I am a Vex lover, okay? He is my favorite dog. He's my dog of a lifetime. He's my favorite dog in the whole dang world, okay? I have wanted to work toward line breeding on him without just breeding him directly to his children. That's not my goal, but line breeding on him, and we finally got some opportunities, and we're going to be doing this.
Which breeding programs take time as well. Like we're talking about, some of these are 10 generations. Well, it takes time to get through 10 generations or even 3 generations. It doesn't happen overnight.
Okay, so let's pull.
Yeah, I want to show the pedigree first. Since this is the one that I was like, we need to do this one because I think it'll be interesting.
Okay, explore. Hitting the right stuff. Cancel. Don't change anything, please. Guts Vex. Family pedigree here, okay? Here we go, folks.
Click off of that so it doesn't...
I know, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I have to click in the white part off of the pedigree. This is other goofy nuances, okay?
So, colors that show up mean they're the same dog. So, I can't point to the screen and it show what you're showing. So, you have to use your arrow.
Why is that not? It's not showing. Oh, there it does. Because it's only showing the colors that match up that are on the screen, actually. Because if you see this, essentially this entire side here is a repeat in this pedigree because it's repeated right here. And you see it through this whole thing. I mean, the whole thing is colored out, okay? So,
and the reason behind that is because Vex is being bred back to his granddaughter.
Yep. So you see this puppy, Guts Vex. Guts here is a Vex granddaughter.
Which we talked about potentially doing breedings like that.
Line breeding.
Breedings.
Boom, baby.
Produce some consistency.
Let's pull this up here and look at how crazy things get, right? So you're thinking, oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, what did they do?
All right. Coefficient of inbreeding, 16%.
Which we just looked at Piper to Vex, and that was what?
13.
13? So not much tighter than that.
But unique dogs is up to 649.
You're still
and
missing.
that's only going to go up when I add the other
40 dogs?
Yeah, not quite. 38 dogs into that mix. It'll go up a few more points. So we're north of 650 unique ancestors, which is going to be a slightly less consistent breeding. But again, we'll pull directly on, and this is one of those things that gets interesting here to look at because we haven't had an example of this yet. You're going to see sort that way. Sorry. Wait a second. Is something wrong in there? Got exit. Yeah.
Oh, puppy name.
No, go here. What the heck?
Technical difficulties, just a
A
second.
little bit here. So go back here now. It's pulling up the right thing. What am I missing here? Calculate.
Where's Vex?
That's what I'm saying. Here he is. Why is that not showing that in order? Because I didn't sort it.
You sorted it by name.
Yeah, I sorted it alphabetically. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like,
I was confused for a second. So look at this. Vex is technically more than a parent. He is 62.5% blood passing on to these puppies, which means we have a tipped in the scale the direction of Vex, which is something like if I could just literally clone him, I would, which is not possible at this point with my financial status. But
And
it
truly,
is.
I mean, honestly, like we talk about all the time, we're always trying to improve upon the breed. So we're hoping that having a lot of Vex is, but not all Vex again, we'll get something a little bit better because that's the goal.
There's that. Another example of a potential line breeding. We're going to look at this one really, really fast. But it would be a puppy. I've talked a little bit. You got a super chat. Rock and roll. I'll type this in.
From Zach Faulkner. We have a pup that has Gamble's Odyssey Fritz on both sides. We were curious of your opinion on that bloodline. Noticed you have 1 or 2 dogs with him in it.
Yeah, that's who Thunderbutt, and that's who I was just entering this in here. Actually, creating this was another potential. It's a little different line breeding, but
so Thunder is out of Muddy, who was bred to Benny via a frozen breeding, and Benny is from Gamble's kennel, and I don't remember all the rest of his ancestors, but Ethan's bringing that up because Benny's out of Sam.
Ethan somehow broke the program, so hopefully
Ethan broke it.
This
is what we were talking
Pedigree
about. This is why
Explorer,
you're
folks.
always trying to back it up because it is running on a Parallels program. On top of it's a glitchy
Oh my God,
program,
yeah.
all the things.
go.
If someone that was actually super, super computery programmy rewrote this, it would be amazing.
Okay. Editor, Puppy, Tricks, Thunder. These are our babies. This stuff been happening for a while, okay? But, shoot, I don't even know. What is her registered name? I don't know if I even have her in here yet.
Standing Stones, Trouble in Disguise.
Okay, Standing Stones. Thunder is...
But you could always do Puppy Quest Hatch.
I know, but
okay.
Thunder I think I have in here. What is it? What's his name?
Thunder, Young Gun.
Young
I thought
Gun.
you were asking about
Okay, and then... What's her name again?
Trouble.
Not in here yet, but we're going to add her. TROU,
BLE.
Trouble. in
You spelled trouble wrong. Trou.
disguise. How do you spell this?
Disguise. See, this is why he needs me, folks, for the data entry side of
Okay,
things.
standing stones, troll in disguise. Yeah, create one, folks. STNDING. Okay, so now we go to the pedigree. This is a fast way to click through this
And
stuff.
this
okay?
is a quick way for you guys to see how this data entry goes, especially when you have all the dogs.
Go back here. I just click it one time. That shows up. Sire is
Grouse points.
Yep.
Praying.
Pray for a good one. And then dam is
Nope.
Outlanders.
Quest for trouble. There we go.
Okay, so here you can see there's our line breeding again on the old Vex monster. And this is a potential. I'll enter information for them in later.
Obviously,
this isn't a guaranteed
Trix
yet.
is just 5 months old.
Babies,
so.
but this is the stuff we play with here, okay? So calculate inbreeding on that again. Calculate 7%, even though there's the line breeding aspect in it. We're missing a few dogs here and 671. So this is more of an outcross again, but still is line breeding on... hell, he didn't even show up in here. Standing stone. Let's go. Nothing but trouble. You...
Standing stone's time for trouble.
There he is. Okay. Third generation. Hell, he's just a grandparent according to this. Something in there. And Hustler shows up 56 times. We can look at that count. That'd be a fun breeding, though. I mean, it's a good chance that that one will probably happen, folks. Get in line for 2 years from now. But that's the gist of it, okay? Let's go ahead and bop back over here, and we will finish this up for you all to see.
We have fun with things like this, too, so we got a little carried away.
What the heck happened? I unplugged something. What happened?
Did our battery die somehow?
Oh, did the camera battery die? Because I didn't plug the dang camera in. God dang it. Just grab another battery off the floor down there. I was doing so good. All right, we should be back on in a couple seconds. There we are. Bingo. Here we are. And you're
Hey,
going to see
guys,
the stuff
our battery died on the camera.
All right, so I'm glad it made it the whole time. All right, so those are some of the big things that we end up working through when it comes to different breedings, different pedigrees. That is, if you will, the pedigree deep dive. For those of you that are still with us, thanks for making it all the way. And did you end up getting to that question there?
Yeah, we were talking about it. I don't think we quite finished it. They were curious about what our opinion was on the bloodline of Gamble's Odyssey Fritz. And we were
it's
talking
very
about
interesting
it being
stuff.
behind,
Yeah, and
Thunder. And that's kind of where we were going, and then you got sucked into
I just
Tricks.
got sucked into Tricks, baby.
And then I did. Fish Hunt asked,
there you go.
did my second super chat get answered? And your second super chat was about the giardia, I believe. And yes, we did answer it. So if you want to, no, we answered it. We were talking about metronidazole.
I just mean
everything.
audio. If something weird happened with the audio, I don't know. Here it is. Gamble's Benny the Jet right here. And then there's your Fritz, baby.
Yep.
Fritzy. There he is.
So
dual champions.
and we've been
Hall of Fame dogs. Lots of stuff here, folks.
We've been super happy with Thunderbutt.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Rick and Brenda down there do a good job. They've been doing it a long time. Okay. But that's it, guys. I hope this answers some questions for you. I hope it
Didn't bore you to death.
brings up some questions for you. If you would like more information to this, I would be happy to share some of this. Just reach out. We can help you out if you're interested in setting the program up or doing any of those other things. I'd be happy to give you a little bit of help with that. It's a lot. It's a fairly big learning curve, and I make it click through, make it look pretty easy. But I've been doing it for like a decade. So
been a lot of learning on our end as well.
Yes, and a lot of time reading. There's a manual that comes with it you can download, and it's like it's not well written like the software, but it works, okay? And I'm to the point where migrating to something different would be difficult, but it does work. But I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in with us live here, folks. We should be rocking and rolling 7:30 again next week. It will be a standard YAWA, if you will. We're here to answer your questions, see what you guys have to say, and
I want to throw this out there just because we most likely may have to pre-record it because there may be traveling involved to get Allie bred, like we talked about.
Oh, yeah, there's the potential that we got to just follow with what's going on there with her. So we'll see.
We will announce if it will be live or not, but either way, it will be aired at 7:30.
7:30 Central Standard Time, Wednesdays, folks. Guys, thanks for being with us. We appreciate you. We enjoy doing this. I'm the guy with the pink gun.
I'm Kat, the dog trainer.
And we'll see you in the next video.